Wrestling Rampage here on Easter weekend. Happy Easter to everybody. And, well, the Easter Bunny's coming around somewhere.
The Easter Bunny is here. And I'm not the Easter Bunny, guys, okay? But close enough to it, though, sometimes, you would think.
Lumberjack Leroux.
Yeah, he really came down into the depths of something to find this guy, let me tell you.
Well, yeah, I had the key, so I just let him out of the storage bin.
He let me out of the storage bin. They keep me in the storage bin sometimes and then just say, hey, come on out. Let's do this. Okay. Sounds good to me. Yeah.
Man, well, we chit-chatting a little bit before.
Sure.
We got started. 25 years ago is when you entered this mass world of...
In 1994, I read a ad in the newspaper in the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette.
Pittsburgh? Okay.
And I was going to college at the time, and I put the paper down on my coffee table at the time. People don't even know what coffee tables are anymore, but yes, coffee table at the time.
Coffee table, yes.
Yes, and this girl came into my dorm room, and she opened it up, and she's reading through the paper, and she said, "Wow." She goes, "Did you see this?" And I said, "Yeah, I saw that." And she goes, "Well, call the number." So I called the number, and there was this guy on the other end of the phone, and he said, "Yeah, we want you to come down to Wheeling, West Virginia, and we want you to meet." At first, we met in Washington, PA, and we all went down to Wheeling, West Virginia, and when we got down there, there was a bunch of guys in the room already that were if I can recall. There's a guy named Dan Stecker, which anybody watching this right now will go, when they hear that name. I didn't know who he was at the time. I didn't know what kind of lifestyle he had, and I didn't know what he was. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But he was involved in the business. Dominic DeNucci was there, and which was the trainer per se of that. And there were probably about 35 of us that just showed up. And at that point, it was kind of interesting. It was fun, actually. And don't you dare, the fact that it was really cool to be able to be involved in that kind of a reality check for me at the time. I mean, I was in college playing college football. I mean, 6'4", and I was 310 pounds, and I was in the best shape of my life when it came to strength and speed and everything going with it. You know what I mean? It was a great time. I mean, it really was. And I was 21 years old. I think. Yeah. I was 21 years old. And prime of my life at that time, right? So they say, I'm at the prime of my life now. Let me tell you guys, right now, okay? But the fact that they, they put us through the ringer, I mean, it really did. They, forgive me for saying it, they beat the shit out of us. They did. It hurt. I mean, it made me look and say, well, do I really want to do this?
Right.
You know? And from that point, I received a phone call from Dominic DeNucci, and he's like, you in college? You in school? You in school? I was like, yes, sir, I am. And he said, well, you come down, you train this night. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, God. First off, poor college student. I was probably about an hour and a half from Pittsburgh, close to an hour and 45 minutes from Pittsburgh. We train here at this place, and he gave me this place, and I'm like, pump the brakes, wait a minute, nonetheless, things went really, really well, and trained and did a lot of things, had some fun. There was a guy named Michael Blade who had a match, and I was at the show, and they pulled me out of I was in the locker room, and that was my first official run-in, I guess, or part of a match was I ran, and man, I went my eyes were this big, and that's not what you're supposed to do, okay? And I was so excited, and I think there was probably, I don't know, 150 people in the crowd, maybe, and I come running out, here comes this big dude come barreling out of the locker room, I slide in the ring, and I had so much momentum, I almost slid all the way across. It was a 16-foot ring, right? And I almost slid all the way to the other side, clear out to the other end, and I was like, whoa, I'm pushing, putting the brakes on. And I pop up, and he turns around, and I turn around, and I froze. I'm like, what do I do? Okay. I was like, boom, hit him with something, and it was a clothesline, and which wasn't supposed to happen. It was supposed to be something else. He did the most professional thing he could. He bumped and rolled out. So, but no, I mean, it was that was my in that part of the thing, right? So we go from there and graduated college. Took some time off, a lot of time off actually. Did a few small things here and there. Took a lot of things off. And then there was a tragic incident in my life where I had found my best friend passed away, and I found him dead. And he was very young at the time. And I said, you know what? I'm going to do everything I ever wanted to do. And I got back into it. Yeah. And I went, and when I went back into it, it was a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday type deal. And I had kids, and I had a wife, and I had a full-time job, a career. I had everything, going for me. And I kept all that. And, it's funny because I look over now and I see my youngest son's walking over there right now. He's now 13, and I remember packing him and his older brother up and their older sister up, and in the car we went, and we would go wherever they asked,
And that's a part of the business that maybe people don't see. They see what's going on in the ring, sure, the cheers and the cameras and whatever, they like that. But there's the other side of it, right, that you yourself, okay, you got a family, you got a job and everything. How did you balance all that?
Oh, no sleep and a lot of caffeine and a lot of, there was times, there was a place in Ohio that ran on a Thursday night, and it was at a theater, I guess, an old theater, and we would run in that theater on a Thursday night, and at the time it was ring time, and there was a couple guys that Seth James was one of the names over there, and he's from Ohio, or he's from Pennsylvania, but he went over there. He used to work for FNW, Far North Wrestling, which was out of Butler, PA. There was those guys and TC, Tommy, he did Doink for a long time, and he was, and plus he was a bunch of other things, but he was a big part of getting me back into the swing of things, and then. We did, but back to the story, we would do that on a Thursday night. Of course, I had to work Friday morning, 7 a.m., and back I came. I was right back into it. I would get home. I'd never take the kids on a Thursday night, but I would go on a Thursday night and do that over in Ohio and get home at, 2 in the morning.
Morning 3, right?
And then turn around and take a shower, get something to eat, and back up, take a nap and get back up and work, 8 to 10 hours the next day, and then back, and then Friday, we're going to be in, Painesville, Ohio, and then come back, and then we're Erie on Saturday, and then maybe West Virginia on a Sunday, and have the kids, and we would just do road trips together, and that's how I did it. That was fun. That was a lot of fun. And now, they're all older and, trying to get them to do things. And those of you with kids know that once your kids get older, it's like, who's dad? You don't give a shit what he does. That's dad. I don't want to be with dad. I want to be with my friends. But, no, it's a good time overall.